Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Thank you all for coming to our second show, and it's absolutely fantastic to be sharing the stage tonight with the wonderful Maxine. It's been absolutely wonderful. We've been listening to her backstage, and she sounds great. So it's a real pleasure to be back here. And our first piece for you this evening was Palladio by Carl Jenkins, which some of you may have recognised. And now, without further ado, we're going to transport you away from the comfort of your seats on this beautiful ship to a dark, dusky, mysterious night with the Hungarian gypsies. Now, when I was much younger, I was very, very fortunate to go on a concert tour as a singer to Budapest in Hungary. And one afternoon, we were sitting in the hills just outside the city, and there was an absolutely amazing gypsy band playing. And somebody in our party told the fiddle player in the band that I too was learning to play the violin. And to my absolute horror, at the age of 7, the violinist walked straight up to my table, offered me his violin and invited me to join in. Now, I'd never in my life before heard music like this, let alone know how to play it. And I still carry a picture in my violin case of me clutching this violin looking absolutely horrified. Anyway, I took the violin and I had a go at one of my grade 1 pieces that I was playing back at home, and he'd obviously never heard music like that either and looked equally as horrified. And he decided to show me exactly how it really should be done. He took his violin back, he sat on the edge of my table, and this next piece is what he played. And at that moment, not only did I absolutely fall in love with this piece of music, but that's when I decided that I too wanted to be a professional violinist like him. And it's one of the reasons I'm here this evening. This is the very wonderful and special Montes Chardas. Thank you very much, everyone. You're a fantastic audience. We love playing to you. It was amazing. Now, Teodora and I, as we mentioned last show, we travel all over the world playing the violin, and we get to meet lots of other musicians and lots of other entertainers. And generally, when we get together, one thing we always seem to end up sharing are our various travel stories, and in particular, the disastrous ones always seem to come up first. But something that's always made us laugh are the various mistranslations we've come across. And so we thought we'd just take a couple of minutes now just to share some of these with you.
Yes, not long ago we were in Copenhagen airport and we saw a sign which read, "Please leave your luggage here and we'll send it in all directions."
Now, actually, last time we were on the Arcadia, I don't know if any of you have met us before on that particular cruise and remember, but actually our luggage did get sent in completely the wrong direction. And for a whole week, we had nothing apart from our violins. And we had to borrow a dress from the shop in order to do our show. So that was quite an experience for us. And we were reunited with them when we got to Sydney a week later. And another thing that has made me laugh was when my mum was working in Hong Kong and she was staying in a very smart hotel. And she was in the lobby of the hotel. And there was a very serious gentleman in the corner with a sign above his head which said dry cleaning. Now, in itself, there's nothing funny about that. Although underneath the sign, it said, "Drop your trousers here for the best results."
Love it. Love it. My favourite was when we were in Acapulco last year and we had a day off and we decided to take a little trip into town, found a little restaurant and sat down and thought, great, we're just going to have some local food, flicked through the menu, found the wine menu, and at the bottom of it, it said, "All water has been personally passed by the manager." Yummy.
We didn't drink much of it. Anyway, the next piece we're going to play for you tonight has been covered well over 100 times due to its huge popularity when it was first written. However, we felt that particularly in the more modern transcriptions of the piece, that it might have lost something of the beauty and simplicity of line, which is what made it so famous in the first place. So this evening, we wanted to strip it back to its roots and pay tribute to the original composer, Leonard Cohen, in his absolutely beautiful Hallelujah.
Thank you. Well, I hope you've enjoyed your cruise, ladies and gentlemen. Have you? Oh, good. Well, we've been on Arcadia for the last week, and it feels like we've met pretty much all of you. It's been fantastic. We met so many of you. You've come up to us and said hello and had a chat. But the one thing that we keep being asked, which we've kept under wraps, I have to say, is how Hazel and I met. And it's quite a funny story, actually. Basically, it was a few years ago in London. We were both working. We were doing a gig, and we didn't know each other at all before that. Met at the gig, struck up a little friendship, said hello, had a good time, exchanged numbers, and went home merrily on our way until the next morning when I get a phone call. And I didn't recognise it. I thought, oh, I wonder who that is. Anyway, on the other end, there's a little voice saying, hello, this is Hazel. How are you?
I don't speak like that.
I think you've got my violin. Oh, my God. I felt so bad. I'd basically picked up her violin, which was in exactly the same case as mine, gone home, and the poor girl had to go and do a gig with my then awful violin. I was horrified. I felt so sorry for her. Dreadful. Anyway, I said, look, we've got to meet up and exchange violins, obviously, for a coffee, which we did. And really, she hasn't got rid of me since then. But some lovely people we've met on this cruise actually have been the band behind us. So please, would you put your hands together for the wonderful Arcadia band? We also do need to give a huge thanks for the light and sound team. Without them, we would not be seen or heard. Thanks, guys. Fantastic job.
So now for a little bit of drama. The next piece we're going to play is by the fantastic composer Bach, and it is his Toccata. Now, my dad's is actually an organist, and I grew up listening to this piece of music. And I absolutely loved it then, being played on the organ. And when I told him that we'd arranged it for 2 violins and a drum kit and all sorts of electric guitar, he wasn't that impressed at the beginning, but I think we've won him over when he heard it, and I think he really likes it now. But bear in mind that normally this is for the organ, so you have your hands and your feet. So Teodora and I together are going to try and cover both the hands and the feet, and we hope you enjoy it. This is Bach's Toccata. Thank you so much, everybody, and thank you for being such a wonderful audience. I hope you've had as much fun down there as we have on stage. We've come to our last number for you this evening. We hope to see as many of you as possible after the show, but for now it's time for us to say good night and goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Teodora and Hazel, better known as Elektra. What a way to end your final show on board. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring them back, Elektra. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you'll agree. We truly have brought you variety for your final farewell show here in the Palladium Theatre. Have you enjoyed those three ladies entertaining you? Fantastic. Now, as they've all said, they are going to be out there on deck too, so please do go on by and let them know just how much you have enjoyed their performances. I know I've always said it before, but it really does mean a lot to them to know that they really have appealed to you and that you've enjoyed